They act like you're the one who ruined Christmas, like you chose to be alone, as if walking away from abuse is somehow more selfish than enduring the abuse. This is bullshit. It's such bullshit. During Christmas, that grief gets louder because everyone else seems to have what you don't. And that's not your fault. That's not your fault. Right. This episode hits me hard, you guys. So, if you're feeling this right now, like I am, the silence, the grief, the guilt, I want you to know that you're not alone. This is your emergency plan because when you get emotional, okay, that's when it's hard to figure out what to do to pull yourself out. Have your crisis plan ready. Need a plan for the moments when it gets overwhelming. This is passion from pain. You know what nobody tells you about cutting off your toxic family? Leaving your toxic spouse, your abusive spouse, leaving the abuse behind. Deciding to finally choose yourself over the bullshit that you'd been subjected to. You know what nobody tells you? You know what you don't even think about in the moment? Because it's the furthest thing from your mind? Christmas. Holidays. Nobody tells you that Christmas becomes a minefield of emotions. They don't tell you that you're walking through that field thinking that you're just celebrating this season and every step you take, it's just thrown in your face that you're alone. You don't have a family this year to celebrate the holidays with, and maybe you didn't leave a toxic situation. Maybe you just don't have anybody anymore. While everyone else is posting their picture perfect family photos, your phone, it stays silent. Nobody's calling you, nobody's texting you, ask what you got for Christmas, wishing you a Merry Christmas, seeing how the kids are doing, seeing if they like their gifts. Sh- No gifts are arriving in the mail for you or your kids. No one's calling to ask how you're doing. Just silence. And the kind of silence that just screams. It's so loud. It's so loud that day. So quiet, so loud. And here's the part that really gets me is that, you know, society acts like you're the problem. Everyone else acts like you're the problem because you chose yourself, your freedom, your sanity over abuse, narcissism, control, chaos. You chose peace. Okay? They act like you're the one who ruined Christmas, like you chose to be alone, as if walking away from abuse is somehow more selfish than enduring the abuse. This is bullshit. Such bullshit. This was Passion from Pain, and today we're talking about how to survive and eventually thrive on Christmas and New Year's after you've cut off that toxic family, that abusive spouse, the siblings, the friends, the toxic people, the dramatic people. You've cut them out, and now you find yourself alone at Christmas, you know? But here's what I need you to know right now. If you're spending this Christmas alone because you finally chose yourself over your abusers, you didn't fail. You survived, and that deserves to be celebrated, even if you're the only one doing the celebrating. You gave yourself the best gift you could ever receive that nobody else could give you. Nobody else could give you that. And you did that for yourself. And I want you to know that. I want you to recognize what you did for yourself. And I know that this season is difficult. In fact, I remember my first Christmas alone. After I walked away from my adopted family, that silent night, Christmas Eve, wrapping all the presents for my son by myself, nobody to talk to, share the experience with, show them what I got him, nobody helping me put together Santa's gifts for him, knowing there was gonna be nothing under the tree for me from anybody, that my stocking wasn't gonna be filled with anything except what I put in there to keep the appearance of Santa up for my son. I remember that Christmas very well, and I know what you're going through. Hey, I was 24 years old, a single mom. My son was 4, autistic and nonverbal. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't spending Christmas at home because home wasn't safe. Home is where I was manipulated, exploited, and gaslit into believing that I was the crazy one, right? So I stayed in my tiny apartment, just me and my boy. And I watched everyone else live their Christmas out on social media. Facebook at the time, right? It's really all we had. Because, yeah, I tortured myself that first year. I did. I watched my friends posting photos with their families, with their brothers, looking at what they got from their parents. I saw, you know, uh, acquaintances posing with their husbands and their kids and their families, married, enjoying each other that day. I watched presents pile under the tree, watched the "so blessed to have this family" captions, just rolling you know? And my phone, it was silent that day. Nobody thought to send me a text message. Nobody called to check on me. No one sent gifts for my son. No one asked, "Hey, how you doing this year? What'd you get for Christmas?" I remember sitting on my couch Christmas morning, holding my son and just crying because, and not because I miss them, the real them, but because I was mourning the family that I thought I had that whole time. The family I wanted them to be. The fantasy that I'd built into my head to survive the reality of what I was living in. I was mourning the loss of that Christmas morning. And then I felt it, that creeping guilt, the voice that said, "Maybe you're overreacting. Maybe you overreacted in the moment. Maybe you should just call them. Maybe you're being too sensitive and maybe you're the problem." And you know what? That voice, man, you know that voice, don't you? The one that they planted in your head that keeps whispering after you've walked away. That voice. That's the voice that was in my head, laying the guilt trips. But here's what I want you to understand, that guilt, it's not your conscience, okay? That's the conditioning. And it's hard to distinguish, especially in the beginning and especially at this time of year. Okay. That's years of being told that your needs, your boundaries, your safety are less important than keeping the peace, right? So understand what that voice is first and foremost this year, because it's gonna creep in, it's gonna hit you. It is. And then there's the social pressures. Those are real. Those are so real. Okay. And there's the questions. What are you doing for Christmas? Right? Small talk. The well-meaning coworkers that, are asking about your family plans. They mean well, right? They do. It's not their fault that they don't understand, and so you have to decide every single time. Do I tell the truth? Do I lie? Do I give the vague answer and change the subject? Because here's what happens when you tell the truth. I don't talk to my family. Suddenly you're the weird one. You're the difficult one, right? Well, let me tell you what's wrong with you. Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing wrong. What's wrong is that we live in a society that values the appearance of family over the reality of safety, that values tradition over truth, that would rather you smile through abuse and than disrupt the Norman Rockwell painting they want to believe exists, right? And this grief, it's complicated, and here's the thing about walking away that nobody prepared me for is that you do grieve, you know, but you're not grieving the people that they actually were. You're grieving the people they should have been to you, the parents who should have protected you, the siblings who should have had your back, the husband who should have loved you, the wife who should have cared for you, the friend who should have been there, right? You're grieving the childhood you deserved but didn't get, the marriage you were promised but was never delivered, the friendship that was expected in return, but they fell short, right? That's what you're grieving. The unconditional love you thought what family meant. That's what you're grieving. And that grief hits hard during Christmas time. Oh God, it does. Because Christmas is all about family, right? Every commercial, every song, every store display is screaming at you, this is what family looks like. Except you're not missing that. You're missing the fantasy, the one that never existed in the first place. I spent years mourning a mother who never actually existed. I was mourning the mother I needed, not the one I had. I spent years mourning a brother that I thought loved me, the brother that I needed, but again, not the one that I had. And during Christmas, that grief gets louder because everyone else seems to have what you don't. And that's not your fault. That's not your fault. Right. This episode hits me hard, you guys. So if you're feeling this right now, like I am, the silence, the grief, the guilt, I want you to know that you're not alone. This is hard for me because I was there 20 years ago, that first night, that first Christmas by myself with my nonverbal son. It was hard. It was so damn hard. And every Christmas after that, it was difficult. But even today, they do hit a little hard. It's different today, and I'll get into that. And if you're feeling this right now, the silence, the grief, the guilt, I want you to know that you're not alone. And I've created something special for you to get through this season. It's what I wish I had 20 years ago when I spent my first night alone. And it's called the holiday survival. and future family building guide, and it's completely free. It's my gift to you this time of year. It's not some toxic positivity bullshit. You guys know I don't do that. It's a real practical tool to help you survive the next couple of weeks and start building the family you actually deserve. And I'll tell you how to get it at the end. But right now, I need you to keep listening because we're about to talk about how to get through Christmas Day without like a okay. So Christmas Day survival tactics. Let's get into this. How to get through December 25th. All right. And even December 24th. That's a tough one too. The night before Christmas. All right, let's get tactical because knowing you'll have chosen family someday, it doesn't help you survive Christmas Eve, Christmas morning when you're eating alone. I know that. Okay, but here's your survival plan for Christmas. Okay, tactic number one, your Christmas Day battle. Don't leave Christmas Day unplanned. Don't do that. The danger zones are specific times when family are. If you're sitting alone with your thoughts during these times, it's dangerous. And here's what I need you to plan, okay? Christmas morning, 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. This is when families open presents. Don't sit in silence watching other people's Instagram stories and the mountains of just pure consumerism wrapped in a holiday paper. Don't do that to yourself. Don't watch that shit. Plan something. Make yourself some special breakfast, something you've always wanted to try, okay? Watch a movie that you love, go for a walk outside, and maybe start a project you've been putting off. Okay, but this is time for you to do something really cool for yourself. Give yourself an amazing Christmas present and do something cool with yourself. The goal is to not sit in silence during the time when the silence is going to be the loudest. Okay. Afternoon, evening from about 12 to 6, dinner time, traditional family gathering time. So this is when you want to maybe get out there, okay? Get out of the house. Go volunteer at a homeless shelter or a food bank. You're not the only one alone during the holiday season. There's others. You will find them. Connect with them. Other people would love to connect with you. They would absolutely love it. They're in the same boat. They're in the same boat. Go to a movie, okay? Theaters are open on Christmas. Go see a movie. Go see a kick-ass movie, okay? And you get to decide what the movie is. Nobody else. You get to pick. How cool is that, right? You don't have to compromise. You watch whatever the hell you want to watch. You're gonna order your favorite takeout, or and binge watch a series on Netflix that you've been wanting to watch or Amazon or whatever. But you're gonna binge watch the whole series and you're gonna have all your favorite snacks and your favorite takeout. It's just all gonna be there. Or you can work on something that just excites the hell out of you. Maybe you've been wanting to start a podcast, a YouTube channel. Maybe you've got a craft that you've been wanting to try. Get everything together and start working on it. Start making the plans. Okay. Or join an online community event. And guess what? I'm going to host one. Details are at the end. That's right. I'm hosting an event just for people who are alone at Christmas time. So stay tuned for the details. And at night after 8 p.m., this is when the loneliness can hit the hardest. So have your crisis plan ready. And we'll get to that in a second. Right? Tactic number 2, your emergency crisis plan. You need a plan for the moments when it gets overwhelming. When you've decided to pick up the phone and check social media, you get sucked in and you start scrolling and you see one too many happy family photos. When a Christmas commercial hits wrong, when the silence just feels unbearable, that's what you need this for. So write this down now, okay? This is your emergency plan because when you get emotional, okay, that's when it's hard to figure out what to do to pull yourself out, but this is what you're gonna do. Write this down. 3 people, okay, that you can get it, who understand, who know your situation. Okay. This is not your therapist. Okay. Not people who will tell you to just forgive them, people who understand. Okay. And if you don't have 3 people yet, that's okay. Join the Survivors Inner Circle community because that's what it's there for. Post and interact with others that are there. They'll respond. I want you to write down 3 activities that ground you. Me, it was taking a walk outside. It was blasting angry music in my car, going for a ride. I threw my son in the back of my Jeep and we went for a ride and I blasted some Disturbed. Disturbed, it was one of my favorite bands at the time. And we just went for a drive in the country. Um, and man, did that help. But if angry music isn't your thing, that's okay. Put on the peaceful music, whatever works for you. Um, you know, or you can journal until you get to the you get hand cramps. Whatever's gonna work for you. But the idea is, some activities, 3 activities that just ground you, and what works for you. Physical movement helps. Creative expression helps a lot, and get out of your own head. That helps. And that's what these are designed to do, is to get you out of your head. And so 3 truths that you can read when the guilt creeps in. So I want you to write these down now while you're clear-headed, okay? I left because staying was killing me. Their abuse was real, not something I imagined. I deserve safety, even if it means being alone. Write these down. 3 truths that you can read when the guilt starts to creep in, because we don't want that guilt taking over. Okay. One grounding technique for panic if you start to have panic attacks that day. It's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory exercise. So I want you to name 5 things you see. Okay. 4 things you could touch. 3 things that you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. And that brings you back to your body out of panic. It's a wonderful exercise, actually, and I want you to try that. And tactic number 3, set the social media boundaries. If you're gonna be on social media during Christmas, you gotta be strategic, okay? So option 1, just delete the apps. Just get them off your phone from December 23rd through December 26th. You will not miss anything important. I promise you, the world is not gonna come collapsing down just because social media is off your phone for a few days. If you must stay on, it's your job, okay? I get it, okay? Curate your experience ruthlessly. Uh, Unfollow anyone who posts holiday stuff that triggers you. Yes, even the nice people. Mute family members and their friends if you need to. Snooze people for 30 days if you have that option. Turn off notifications completely, okay? It's only for a few days. It's only for a few days. Remember that. And remember this too, okay? You're just seeing everybody's highlight reel. You have no idea what's happening behind those smiling photos. And I guarantee you that at least half of those perfect family posts are from people who spent the car ride home crying or fighting anyway. So keep that in mind, okay? The perfect family Christmas does not exist simply because the word family is in that phrase, period. Yeah, y'all know. Tactic number 4, I want you to make a script for the nosy people. And so if you're seeing anybody before Christmas at work parties, friends, just acquaintances, the random customer that comes up to you and asks, what you're doing, and they ask about your plans, have a script ready. All right. And one, you can redirect. I'm keeping it low key this year. How about you? Shifts the focus back to them. People love talking about themselves. They'll completely forget that they asked what you're doing for Christmas. And you might get to hear something cool. Who knows? You could give them the vague truth. I'm spending it with close friends this year. Should be nice and drama free, right? And it's true, even if close friends is just you and your dog, or you and your kiddo, or just you. Still a close friend. You're not lying. Or you could set the boundary. I really don't do the traditional family thing, but I appreciate you asking. It's really just a polite shutdown. Okay, just a polite way to say, no, I'm just not doing the traditional family thing. Thanks for asking, though. Or you could be honest, but save this for safe people only, people that you don't want to throw this one out there to the random customer who's just making small talk while you get them their coffee, right? I don't talk to my family anymore, so I'm creating my own traditions now. You may not want to throw that one out there for that person. Keep that for people that are a little closer, know you a little better. But pick what feels right for you. You don't owe anyone your story. You don't owe anyone an explanation at all, right? You don't owe it. All right. Tactic number 5, your Christmas toast. On Christmas, I want you to pour yourself a drink if okay, you're not struggling with alcoholism, and you're not trying to quit drinking, right? But pour yourself a drink, and it could be a non-alcoholic one, sparkling cider, wine, whiskey, whatever, a mocktail, right? And raise a glass to yourself and say it out loud. I survived them. I chose me. I'm free. Merry freaking Christmas to me. That rhymed. I love it. Okay, because you're free. You did it. You survived, and you're badass for that. Yeah. These tactics will help you survive Christmas Day, but I want more for you than just survival. Okay, the holiday survival guide I created has all of this written out hour by hour, plans, crisis templates, scripts, everything, plus the roadmap for building your chosen family over the next year. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to get it in a few minutes, but first, let's talk about New Year's, okay, and what comes after, because we got another holiday just a couple of weeks later that's going to remind us again that, here we are, all of them again, right? So, surviving New Year's Eve. New Year's is its own kind of brutal because it's not just about family, it's all about fresh starts, resolutions, moving forward. And when you're still in the grief, still in the void, new year, new you kind of feels like bullshit, right? Uh, but you don't have to pretend to be excited about the new year. Yay, another year of shit storms. You don't gotta be pretend to be excited. You don't have to make big resolutions. You don't have to act like everything is fine and is gonna be fine. You don't have to do that. So don't buy into that nonsense. But here's what you can do. You can acknowledge how far you've come. And that's probably one of the best things you can do is acknowledge how far you've come. Most people don't do that. It's one of the reasons that they can't hold on to a New Year's resolution because they have no grasp or any kind of gratitude for the things that they've already accomplished, right? So maybe a year ago, you were still in a toxic relationship. Maybe you were still making excuses for their behavior. Maybe you were still sacrificing yourself to keep the peace or still believing that you were the problem. If you walked away in since then, you know, even if you walked away just yesterday, dude, that's massive. It's huge. And that's more growth than most people achieve in a lifetime. So your New Year's resolution, it can be simple. Just keep choosing yourself. Period. End of story. And how amazing and beautiful of a New Year's resolution is that? Screw the I'm gonna lose 100 pounds, join a gym membership, pay monthly, get into a contract that I'm not gonna keep up with. Screw that. Just choose you. Make that your New Year's resolution, and holy freaking cow, that is amazing. That's massive. That's just more growth than people achieve in a lifetime. That's it. You just keep getting back up, keep building, and keep refusing to go back. And you got to remember that this is not going to be your reality forever. And I need you to hear it. Okay. This is not permanent. It's not. And I know from experience, trust I know from experience. Right now, it's just the hardest part. You walked away from the familiar, even though that familiar was toxic, dramatic, abusive. You haven't built the new yet. You're in the in between, in the void, right? But the void is where the transformation happens. The void is where you figure out who you are without them. Don't run from the void. You sit in it. Let it teach you. Let it show you what you're made of. Because 20 years later, I'm on the other side. And I could tell you, if I can survive this, the first Christmas alone, the silence, the grief, the guilt, damn, you can survive anything. You can survive anything. I can survive anything because that was tough. You know what I wish I would have known? That first Christmas alone, I thought I'd lost everything. I thought cutting off my family meant I'd never have family again. I was so focused on what I'd lost, I couldn't see what I gained from leaving. I gained my life. I would say I gained my life back, but I never had my life to begin with. I gained my sanity. I gained my autonomy. I gained my son's safety, and I gained my future. I gained the opportunity to build something real instead of maintaining something fake. But I couldn't see it yet because I was still in the grief, still in the void. And here's what I want you to know now that I wish I would have known then. Every single person in my life today, my husband, my closest friends, my chosen family, I met after I walked away from my toxic family. None of them would be in my life if I'd stayed. Leaving my family didn't just remove toxic people from my life. It made space for healthy people to enter. It made space for the healthy people to enter. I wasn't wasting my time focusing on doing the right things, seeing the right things, being the right person, spending the right amount of time with the people who were just consuming me. And the more I stayed away and the more I built myself up, the more confident I became. And the more confident I became, the more I attracted people into my life. People that were genuinely interested in me and loved me in a way that I'd never experienced before. And as somebody who's never truly experienced that, as somebody who was adopted and then into an abusive situation, you know, uh, I'd never experienced that. And when I first felt that, it was very foreign. It was very scary. Really, it was. I didn't know what to do with that. And in fact, I was very cautious of it because I felt it was a manipulation tactic. I really did. I really did. So I did. I kept people at an arm's length for a while, but a lot of people they knew, they understood that, but they kept trying anyway. But they gave me my space too. Didn't force themselves on me. Didn't tell me that, "Oh, you're just crazy. That was them. I'm me. I'm different. I'm not them." No, they gave me their space and they let me feel them out. They let me understand who they were and what their intentions were, and they did that by showing me who they were, not by telling me who they were. Not by telling me what I needed to believe about them, but by showing me who they were through experiences and through following through with the things that they said that they were gonna do, you know? And that was the difference. That was the difference between those that were taking advantage of me and those that were truly interested and authentic and really wanted to be in my life. That was the big difference. Every single person in my life today, I met after I walked away from my toxic family. Not a single person from my past is in my life now. And I don't know if I would have room for them, even if they did have good intentions back then, because I'm a very different person. They knew a very different version of me, and I don't know if we would even jive anymore because I am so different after growing and healing from what I was, who I was. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay, right? And that's one of the lessons that I've learned. The right people are going to come into your life for who you are. They're going to meet you and they're going to stick around and they're going to stay and they're going to love you unconditionally because that's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's supposed to be. And it doesn't have to be blood, family. It doesn't have to be blood. It doesn't. Remember that. Leaving my family didn't just remove toxic people from my life. It made space for the healthy people to enter. My holidays now, they're drama free, they're peaceful, they're filled with people who actually love me, my husband, my kids. And, you know, we make pancakes on Christmas morning, sometimes cinnamon rolls. If I have time on Christmas Eve, I'll get the dough already. We'll have homemade cinnamon rolls the next. Wow, freaking amazing. I'd never had that before, never experienced that before. And here I am now with my family that actually loves me, chooses me, authentic, real love. We exchange gifts that we actually want, and we spend the day doing whatever we want. Sometimes we go to my husband's family's house. Most of the time we don't. We just stay at home in our pajamas all day long, doing whatever the hell we want. No performance, no obligation, no walking on eggshells, just people who genuinely enjoy being together. And that is what family should feel like. But I had to survive those brutal first Christmases to get here. And you will too. I know you will. You will. I didn't think I was going to, but I did, and I'm here now. And it took time, and it's gonna take time. And that's what I want you to understand. Okay. You're gonna make it. And you're not all alone. Okay. You're not all alone. And just remember that I'm thinking about you. I was you. I know. And here's your assignment. Here's what I want you to do. Not today if you're not ready, but soon. I want you to dream. I want you to get out a piece of paper and I want you to answer this question. If I could design my perfect Christmas 5 years from now, what is that going to look like? Who would be there? Where would you be? What would you be doing? What would it feel like? I want you to dream without limits. This is your vision. Okay. And then ask yourself, what do I need to do this year to make that dream possible in 5 years? Maybe you need to build your savings, join a group where you'll meet potential chosen family, you know? Maybe start therapy or work through the guilt, or maybe you get comfortable being alone so you can recognize healthy company when it arrives, or maybe you set boundaries with the few safe people that are in your life. Dream it, plan it, build it, because 5 years from now, you're going to be somewhere. You can either be back where you started, okay, or you can be living the life that you designed. The difference is what you do right now, this season, in this void. Okay. You can sit there and you can continue to cry and continue the self-loathing and continue to torture yourself by looking at what everybody has that you don't, where you can plan for what you're going to have in the coming years and start building that. Start breaking down the steps that it's going to take to get to where you want to be, to attract the people that you want to attract in your life. That's what you do with this time right now. And look, I created this holiday survival and future family building guide because I wish I had this 20 years ago. Okay. That Christmas that it was just me and my son, and he's nonverbal, not talking. I could have been working on this. I could have been building a future. But I sat there and I cried the whole day. It was so unproductive, you know? But this has got everything that we just talked about. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to work on this. Okay. Instead of sitting in the guilt. Okay, you can feel it a little bit. Feel it a little bit, right? We got to feel those feelings. We absolutely got to, but don't sit there. Don't stew in it, right? Start doing something with it. Okay, and I want you to take the Christmas Day survival plan. I want you to take the crisis templates. I want you to take the scripts and the long term roadmap for building your chosen family. I want you to take all of that and I want you to work on that. It's completely free. It's my gift to you. Okay, because I'm going to tell you how to grab it, right now. My gift to you because I want you to have a better self. Okay, I know what this feels like, and I know I keep saying that, but I know. God, that was the hardest feeling. And every time I go back to it, I can't help but cry. Um, I know. And I gotta help. I want to help, and that's why I made this for you. Okay. So what I've built for you, I've been exactly where you are. Sitting alone on Christmas, wondering if I've made a mistake, questioning if I'd ever have a family again. And I didn't have anyone guiding me through it. I had to figure it all out on my own, the hard way, trial and error, years of therapy, tons of reading, slow, painfully building life. But I did it. I built the life that I have now. But you don't have to do it that hard way because I'm going to give you the roadmap I wish I had. And it is called the Holiday Survival and Future Family Building Guide. And it's completely free. But here's what's inside. Part one is the Holiday Survival Guide. So the emergency crisis plan template. Fill in the blank, save it on your phone, or print it out if you like to do the handwriting. Get it script for handling the intrusive questions, hour by hour Christmas Day survival plans, social media boundary checklist, permission slips that you can print and read when the guilt hits, and crisis resources and hotlines just in case it gets too heavy and you need to talk to somebody. It is in this guy. Okay. Part two, future family building workbook. I want you to design your perfect holiday 5 years from now. It's a vision exercise. Green flags versus red flags relationship tool. Okay. Relationship assessment tool. Work on that. Okay. Start understanding what the green flags are, what the red flags are. That way you can spot them like that in people. Where to find your people. That's in the guide. Online, in person. Where can you go to find your people that are meant for you? Okay. New tradition planning worksheet. Fun. Dude, this is fun. You get to plan what your Christmases look like from here on out, what your traditions are going to be. This is all you. This is so cool. I'll tell you one tradition. We have those silly little elves. My daughter had to bring them in. But one of the traditions that we have now is that, they go to war. Those elves, there's a big war at Christmas time in my house. And the elf on the shelf, we've got two of them. And we've got two Snoops on a stoop, and we've got one of those Aussie ones that uh, I don't know what happened to that, but he doesn't look right. Anyway, that's neither here or there. All those elves, they get together and they have an all-out war with my husband's Terminator and Wolverine. And this year, the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, they're involved. And it's an epic battle every year. I woke up this morning to the elves cooking lizard soup. Okay. Took over my kitchen. Lizard soup. It's a thing. So these are the new fun family traditions that we're building, that we've built, and you get to plan this now. What are my traditions going to look like? We have a war at Christmas time with the toys. What is your traditions going to be? Okay, and a 5 year family building roadmap with quarterly milestones. Okay, you get to plan out what building the new family is going to look like. All right. And then part three is a 30-day daily check in journal. If you're one who loves journal prompts and journaling, and it's a wonderful way to just reflect and get things out. And do it your way. Either write in this guide, or you can do audio or video, answering the questions. and save those for yourself. You don't have to share it with anybody. But it's got daily prompts for emotional check-in, gratitude, small wins. It's got trigger tracking and coping strategies. And then truth reminders when the guilt creeps in, and 30 pages to get you through the season. Really what it is. And then bonus on December 23rd, I'm going to have a virtual event, live event that I'm hosting free online. It's a gathering for survivors who don't have family plans, right? The chosen family gathering is going to be December 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to share stories. We're going to support each other. We're going to remind each other that we're not alone. No toxic positivity, no just forgive them advice, just survivors supporting survivors. So, how to get it? I want you to click the link in the description. It will be linked. Click it. That's where you get your guide. You're going to enter in your email, and I will send you all 3 workbooks to you immediately to your email address. No cost, no catch, no sales pitch. Just Merry Christmas. Merry freaking Christmas, right? Just as a survivor who's been where you are, reaching back to help you through it. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And if you're hearing this and you're in the silence right now, the silence I know too well. I need you to hear me, because you're not broken because you're alone. You're healing. You're evolving past the pain. Your phone might be silent this Christmas. Your mailbox might be empty. Your dining table might have empty chairs, but your life is full of possibility, full of freedom, full of chance to rebuild something real instead of maintaining something fake. This is your first Christmas alone. And it won't be your last Christmas alone, but next year it's going to be different. And the year after that, it's going to be even better. The family you came from, it doesn't define the family you're creating. It doesn't. The silence you're sitting in today is just making space for the laughter, love, and peace that you're going to experience tomorrow. So just hold on and keep building and trust the process, because it is a process. It is a process. Okay. And I'm spending Christmas this year with my husband, my kids, and maybe some of his family. We'll make the pancakes or the cinnamon rolls in the morning. We'll probably watch Christmas movies in our pajamas, until noon. There won't be any drama. Just people who choose each other. And I want that for you. You deserve that. And you will have that. But first, you have to survive this Christmas, and you will. Because you're stronger than you think, tougher than they said, and more resilient than you've ever imagined. So grab that guide, use those tools, survive this season, build your future. Okay. Merry Christmas to the warrior reading this. So Merry Christmas to the warrior watching this video right now. For real this time. This is Passion from Pain. I love you guys. I'll see you all in the next episode.